Imagine a treasure so vast it held the secrets of the entire ancient world. A treasure not of gold or jewels, but of something far more powerful: knowledge. This was the legendary Library of Alexandria, a place where the accumulated wisdom of humanity was gathered under one roof. For centuries, it was the intellectual heart of the world, a beacon of light in an age of empires. And then, it vanished, taking with it a legacy of lost knowledge that we are still trying to comprehend today. What was really inside, and what did we truly lose when it was destroyed? Let's travel back in time, to around 300 BCE, to the bustling cosmopolitan city of Alexandria in Egypt. Founded by Alexander the Great, this city was destined for greatness, and at its very center was an institution with an audacious goal: to collect all the knowledge in the world. This wasn't just a library, it was a mission. Every single ship that docked in Alexandria's famous harbor was searched, not for contraband, but for books. If any scrolls or manuscripts were found, they were seized, taken to the library, and meticulously copied by an army of skilled scribes. The original scrolls were added to the library's collection, and only the copies were returned to their owners. In Alexandria, knowledge wasn't just power. It was the ultimate treasure, and the library was its vault. Inside its magnificent halls, scholars believe there were hundreds of thousands of scrolls. We'll never know the exact number, as no complete catalogue survived the library's eventual destruction. But based on ancient accounts, the collection was simply staggering. It contained works on every subject imaginable: astronomy, mathematics, medicine, engineering, philosophy, geography, poetry, and detailed histories of civilizations that had long since faded into memory. Imagine scrolls detailing the movements of the stars with an accuracy that would be matched for over 1,000 years. Imagine medical texts describing anatomical discoveries that European doctors wouldn't rediscover until the Renaissance. There were rumored to be maps of lands beyond the known world, and even blueprints for early machines, primitive steam engines, complex gear systems, and automated figures known as automata. It was a repository of human genius, a snapshot of everything our ancestors knew and dreamed. But the Library of Alexandria was so much more than a warehouse for scrolls. It was a living, breathing institution, the world's first true university and research center. The greatest minds from across the ancient world, from Greece, Persia, India, Babylon, flocked to Alexandria to study and work. This is where Euclid laid down the principles of geometry that are still taught in schools today. It was here that Eratosthenes, using nothing more than shadows, sticks, and brilliant mathematics, calculated the circumference of the Earth with astonishing precision. Herophilus, another scholar at the library, conducted pioneering studies in human anatomy, revolutionizing medicine. Archimedes, the great inventor and mathematician, developed many of his world-changing ideas within its intellectual ecosystem. And later, the brilliant philosopher and mathematician Hypatia taught and inspired a new generation of thinkers in the very heart of this city of knowledge. For a few glorious centuries, the Library of Alexandria represented the absolute peak of human curiosity and collaboration. If we ever came close to gathering all of our collective wisdom in one place, this was it. So, what happened? How could such an incredible monument to human intellect just disappear? Most people imagine a single, cataclysmic fire that reduced the entire library to ashes in one night. The reality, however, is far more tragic and drawn out. The library's destruction wasn't a single event. It was a slow, painful death by 1,000 cuts, spread across centuries. The first major blow came in 48 BCE during a civil war involving Julius Caesar. While trying to burn enemy ships in the harbor, the fire spread uncontrollably to the docks and consumed warehouses where a significant number of scrolls were being stored. This was a devastating loss, but the library itself survived, wounded but not destroyed. Over the next few centuries, however, Alexandria was plagued by political instability and civil unrest. During conflicts in the 3rd century CE, parts of the city that housed the library were heavily damaged, and the institution suffered further losses. The final fatal blows came with the rise of religious and political extremism. In the 4th and 5th centuries, as the Roman Empire transitioned, a new wave of intolerance swept through its territories. Centers of classical learning, pagan temples, and scientific institutions were seen as threats. The Serapeum, the sister library or daughter library to the main one, was destroyed by a mob. Little by little, scroll by scroll, the greatest collection of knowledge the world had ever seen was neglected, targeted, and ultimately erased from existence. The question that haunts historians to this day is, what did humanity lose? The answer is almost too painful to contemplate. We lost entire histories of ancient peoples, their cultures, their beliefs, their stories gone forever. We lost scientific breakthroughs that could have propelled human progress forward by centuries. Imagine if we had access to advanced medical knowledge that disappeared with those scrolls. Imagine if the Industrial Revolution had begun 1,000 years earlier, sparked by lost engineering diagrams for steam power and complex machinery, detailed maps of the ancient world, lost languages we can now never decipher, philosophical works that might have answered some of our deepest questions, all turned to smoke and dust. Some historians have speculated that the destruction of the Library of Alexandria set human civilization back by anywhere from 500 to 1,000 years. Think about that. Where would we be today if that knowledge had survived? Would we have colonies on Mars? Would we have cured diseases that still plague us? We can only wonder. And yet, amid the tragedy, there is a glimmer of mystery, a whisper of hope. Some ancient sources suggest that not everything was lost. Legends tell of brave scholars who, seeing the writing on the wall, smuggled precious scrolls out of the library before its final destruction. They say these priceless texts might still be out there, hidden away in forgotten monasteries, buried deep in desert caves, or lying undiscovered beneath the streets of modern Alexandria. To this day, archaeologists continue to dig, dreaming of finding just one of those lost scrolls. Imagine the excitement, the revolution in our understanding of the past, if such a discovery were made. It's a long shot, but the possibility, however faint, keeps the dream alive. The story of the Library of Alexandria is a profound tragedy, but it's also a powerful lesson. It teaches us how fragile knowledge is, how easily it can be destroyed by conflict, ignorance, and intolerance. But it also reminds us that the human spirit of inquiry, the relentless desire to learn, to question, and to discover is far more resilient than any building or scroll. That spirit survives every fire. The physical library may be gone, but its legacy endures in every book we read, every scientific discovery we make, and every question we dare to ask about our universe. The spirit of Alexandria is a call to action. It urges us to protect our shared knowledge, to cherish learning, and to never stop searching for the truth. Because the greatest treasure humanity will ever possess is knowledge, and its loss is a tragedy we must never, ever repeat. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the past as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the mysteries of history.